school. Let's get going. Welcome to the free astrotheology course. Our primary textbook is the Astrology of the Old Testament. All right, or the lost word regained. Or the lost word regained. The author is Carl Anderson. All right, so, oh no. I think I just bought a new stand, and it looks like every time I touch it, hold on, let me, so many challenges, y'all, with trying to do this live stream thing. Oh well. I have to figure, this stand looks like it's wobbling. Give me one moment. Yeah. Oh well. Y'all gonna have to deal with it this time. Anyway, so let's pick it up, y'all. We stopped in chapter... Hold on, where did we stop? Are we in chapter 7 already? No, chapter 5. Hold on. So chapter 5. We finished 5. Hold on. Okay, so hold on, y'all. We're in chapter 5 on page... On page 65. On page 65. So give me one moment. Sometimes I get confused on what I've prepared and what I've taught. But anyway, let's pick it up. We're just going to start on page 65, okay, y'all? So no review. I'm going to show the images. We discussed the details in these images in the last class or two. Okay, so we're going to pick up from there on page 65. First paragraph. Hold on. Yeah, okay, page 65. The figure on page 64 is the cubic stone of masonry and the city of the new or celestial Jerusalem. Y'all, that is such a key point. You have to remember that. Celestial Jerusalem, New Jerusalem, okay? All right, so that's the illustration he's talking about on page 64. So take a look at it. So here we see the square, okay? And then the circle in the square, or the circle square, is the Maserat. That's the Maserat, the Zoad. All right, so you will see the zodiac signs. The circle, or the old path, as the prophet says, follow the old path, but you said no. And then according to the prophet, the Most High handed you your, you know what, right? All the punishments of the curses. Why? Because you said no, we will not return to the old path. What's the old path? The old path is the Maserat, the Zoad, the Zodiac, astrology. All right? So you see the circle inside of the square, hence we have the squared circle. And they use that term in boxing also. You'll hear people refer to the square circle in boxing. Well, this is where it comes from. So here is the solstitial line. Summer solstice, winter solstice. So Cancer, June 22nd, thereabout, Actually, June 19th to 22nd, okay? Draw a straight line down. It takes you to Capricorn. Capricorn, the winter solstice, December 19th to the 22nd. Actually, I've read in the Devil's Pulpit where it begins actually around December 17th and it reaches its peak. The lowest point or the lowest elevation in the southern part of space on December 22nd. So here we have our solstitial line, which is vertical. Here we have, all right, y'all, we lost the connection, but it's back. So again, this is the equinoctial line. This is the equinoctial line. This is Libra, the fall or autumn equinox. This is Aries, the spring or vernal equinox. So here we see the Christian cross. Okay, that's the Christian cross. Here we see, I'm going to show you the altar. So y'all see this X? Y'all see the X there? Everybody see that X? So over here it's Taurus, the bull. So this is corresponding to Ezekiel chapter 1 and I think Revelation chapter 4. But anyway, the four living creatures. So Taurus, the bull. So the head of a bull. Leo, the lion. The head of the lion. Over here, Scorpio is somewhere, right? Over here, Scorpio. And then over here, well, Scorpio is the eagle, y'all, the head of the eagle. And then over here, Aquarius, the head of a man. So that's the Ta, the Phoenician Canaanite, or the ancient Ibaryath Ta. All right? In Greek, it's the Tau, T-A-U. In the ancient Ibaryath, it's Ta. All right? So this is the Christian cross. Solstitial line, equinoctial line, Christian cross. And this is the Canaanite Phoenician Ta, or Tau, or the All, A-L hyphen Tau. The All hyphen Tau, T-A-U, altar in the center. Okay? So at each extremity of the lines, okay, which would be my hand and my elbows, these are where the cherubim are. Okay? And then at the point of intersection between each of these lines is where, quote unquote, God dwells between the cherubs. This is the central fire that we've always heard about. This is the central fire of the sun. Okay, the central fire of the sun, which never goes off of the ecliptic. Okay, it's always on the ecliptic. All right, y'all? So here are the gates. Aries is due east. Aries is due east. This is the Passover. This is the Christian Easter. Libra, September 22nd. The sun crosses below the celestial equator, so that's when Christ gets crucified. And his mother Mary, who is Virgo, is standing next to the cross in the Christian iconography. You'll see Mary standing next to the cross. That's telling those who know, not the ignorant masses who are not supposed to know, but those who know, that's telling them that this picture is referencing the fall or autumn equinox. When you see Mary standing next to Christ on the cross. When you don't see Mary, that's the spring or the vernal equinox. Okay, y'all? All right? Now remember, also, what else do I want to bring out on this really quickly? Cancer is south in this image, and Capricorn is north. We discussed that a couple of pages ago. So y'all go back and read that. Now this is a sapphire gem. You'll see an upside down triangle, which is a pyramid, a right side up triangle, which is a pyramid, and another upside down. So you see triangles or pyramids at the edges. Okay, and in the center you see a square. Y'all see the square here? And then you see the circle. Y'all see the circle? The fire in the circle. Okay, y'all? So this is a sapphire gem. This is the same image with more detailed information in it. All right? So let's get back to it. So let's go back to page 65. The figure on page 64 is the cubic stone of masonry and the city of New Jerusalem, instituted by Moses to correct the movement of the Eschuan sun into the sign Aries. And we're going to get into what this correction is, all right? Which, owing to the precession of the equinoxes, what that's talking about, let me show y'all. So normally, the natural year always starts with spring, when the sun passes over the vernal equinox. Okay? So it's called the vernal equinox, when winter ends and spring begins from the northern hemisphere. That's the point of the orientation, the northern hemisphere. That's the only place where there are 4 clearly defined seasons. Okay, y'all? So whichever zodiac sign is there when winter ends and the first day of spring begins, all right? That's called the zodiacal age. That's called the zodiacal age. So let's demonstrate. Let me explain it. So now, or at the time of the writing, let me say this. In 1892, when this book was published, if you went outside at 5:30 a.m. in the morning on the first day of spring, if you look right over the horizon, you see the constellation called Aries. Aries the Ram, Aries the Lamb of God. Every year, once a year, on the first day of spring, at 5:30 in the morning, you go out there, you look just above the horizon, you will see Aries. And you would see Aries, you'd see that constellation, it'd be there for 2,154 years, according to our ancient Chaldean ancestors. Modern astrologers say it's 2,160. But I rock with our ancestors, not modern astrologers. Now, after 2,154 years, the constellation that you will see at 5:30 in the morning on the first day of spring will change. It will change, meaning we are in a new zodiacal age. So the zodiacal age is defined by which constellation you see when you go outside at 5:30, 5:45 in the morning, look to the east just above the horizon. Whatever constellation that is, that's the zodiacal age that we are in. All right? Period. So, in the normal situation, the first zodiac sign is whichever one it is at the first day of spring. Okay, that's due east. That's the first zodiac sign. So let's say now, or let's say in 1892, it was Aries. All right? So we would see Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, so on and so forth. Okay, all the way until we get back to Aries. But this concept called the precession of the equinoxes means that it goes backwards. Hockey Life Rice, you're my favorite streamer. Oh, thank you so much, Hockey Life. I appreciate that. Really, really appreciate that. That's a wonderful compliment. Thank you. So, for example, scholars, in Gemini, the solar deity, that son born of a virgin was Buddha. Buddha was worshipped just like Jesus Christ is now. Okay, just like all is now. So Jesse Pinkman writes, "Hail Satan." Okay, Jesse, I hope you're saying that astrologically and not from a religious dogmatic point of view, because what you're talking about is Saturn. Saturn, which rules the house of Capricorn, which is based upon the solstitial line. Okay, so Cancer is the extreme line, is the extreme opposite end of the same line here. Y'all see that? Cancer is the Christ. The SUN sun is given the title Christ when it's at the summer solstice on approximately June 19th through 22nd. Draw a line straight down. It takes you to December 22nd, let's say June 22nd, December 22nd, to keep it simple. Now, because nighttime hours dominate the winter, it's dark and it's cold. All of the zodiac signs below, Aries and Libra, are ruled by night. And this is thus and therefore called hell. This is called hell, all right? Those signs above Libra and Aries, this is called the kingdom of the heavens. All right, the kingdom of the heavens. So going back to hell where Satan is, you take the D off of dark because nighttime rules and it's dark. Also with the fact that most crimes or evil stuff is going to happen in the dark. So take the D off of dark and prefix it to evil, you get devil. And the ancient Ibaryath word, which most of you all call Hebrew or biblical Hebrew, ancient Ibaryath, Canaanite, Phoenician. To keep it simple, let's just say Hebraically. Everybody knows that. Hebraically, Satan means opposite, opposer. So we have the Hermetic Law of polarity, the law of opposites. See, it's on the same line. They have the same nature, except for one is higher self and one is lower self. So Satan comes from opposite or opposer. Opposite of what? This is the opposite end of the same line. So now we have Christ, who is opposed by the devil. So therefore the devil is Satan. Why? Because it's on the opposite end of the same line. Do you understand that, Jesse Pinkman? I hope that's clear, scholars. This is why when you look in Ezekiel chapter 1, you'll see the four living creatures, but you'll also see that the feet of that entity are cloven. And we all know that the devil was spoken of as being what? That cloven foot bastard, or whatever colorful word you want to attach to the devil. That cloven foot, whatever it is that you say wherever you are in the world. But the devil is the cloven-footed, right? We also find in Scripture in the Old Testament that both the devil, was it the taxing or was it the census, taking the census of the people? I believe that's what it was. Is attributed to the Tetragrammaton, Yahu, Yahuwah, Yahweh, Jehovah, Yahweh, all of that, whichever way you want to pronounce it, and also to the devil. All right, but let's not get it confused. These texts are a remix of natural phenomena, specifically, in this case, the solstitial line. The solstitial line. Christ is at one extreme of the line in the kingdom of the heavens. Follow that line all the way down. The winter solstice is at the other or the opposite extreme of the same line. Hence, Christ and the devil are the same being. Hence, each of us have a higher self and a lower self. Okay, y'all? So I hope that's clear, Jesse, and anyone else who is interested in this topic. So let me make a request of y'all. Please don't come in here grandstanding or trying to push a doctrine. This is not the place for that. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in giving a high quality, as best I can with the resources that I have for this, a high quality free class. Okay, so I don't need y'all taking a dunk in the chat, trying to mess it up. Okay? Anyway, let's get back to our topic. Page 65. Okay, so here we are. Let's get back to it. So the topic is the cubic stone of masonry. We just looked at that, which is in fact the city of the new or celestial Jerusalem, instituted by Moses to correct. So we need to figure out what this correction is, right? Why and how is he able to do it? And in fact, if it's even true, okay, that he did some correction. To correct the movement of the Escheat sun into the sign of Aries, which, owing to the precession of the equinoxes, that's where I was, okay, it had made from Taurus, previous to the exodus of the Hebrews or Israelites from Egypt. So let me go back to that. That's where I was. All right. So when the ancient Israelites were in Egypt, the zodiacal age was Taurus. All right? It was Taurus. Hold on a minute. Let's go to Gemini. So Buddha, it was Buddha and Gemini, and then Taurus when the Israelites were in Egypt, and then the Israelites left Egypt, and at the point they were leaving, it was a transition between Taurus going to or entering into Aries, and Aries the ram. This is why the Jewish people blow the shofar. So from Aries, it transitioned to Pisces. Pisces, which is Christianity. Jesus, the Christ figure, is now the solar deity. All right? And the religious paradigm is Christianity. So even Islam is Christianity. Even all of the different sects and denominations, like Lutheranism, the Methodist Church, this is all Christianity. All Christianity, okay? It's all Christianity. Now, let's continue. So what is this telling us? During Taurus, during the zodiacal age of Taurus, Apis the bull was worshipped. And we see remnants of this in Hindustan, in India, where they still hold the cow or the ox or the bull as sacred. In Gemini, we see remnants of that because we still see in many parts of the world that Buddha is still revered. Now, of course, they were not worshiping these beings as gods and in religion. Absolutely not. They were just representatives. They were basically like an icon on your cell phone. Nobody worshipped it. It just had astrological meaning. And you would use that meaning to manage your life. To manage what you do, when you do it, and how you do it. Period. Not bowing down and praying. That is a remix. They put a mask or a veneer over the science that Buddha represents, or the philosophy that Buddha represented, the science. Okay? Also the science that Apis that Taurus represents. They put a religious mask over that, etc., etc. So if we are in fact in the age of Aquarius, we should be able to go out at 5:30 in the morning on the first day of spring in 2025. Look toward the east, just above the horizon, and we should see Aquarius, the constellation Aquarius. If we're transitioning out of Pisces, in other words, we're still in Pisces, but we're moving into Aquarius, we should see at 5:30 in the morning, 5:30 a.m. in the morning, looking toward the east, we should see Aquarius above the horizon, and we should see Aquarius. We should see parts of Aquarius at the horizon. So we don't have to guess and wonder what zodiacal age we're in. We can just go there and look ourselves. All right? If y'all want me to go, support it. My PayPal, you can do it on my PayPal. You can donate on my Patreon or on my website. The links are all in the description area of the video, and I'll go there. But you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself, and that'll tell you exactly, without a doubt, which zodiacal age we are in right now, okay? So that's to deal with the precession of the equinoxes. Instead of it going this way, so Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, it's going backward or retrograde, okay? So we went from, for example, we went from Gemini to Taurus to Aries to Pisces, and now we're going into Aquarius. That's the concept of the precession of the equinoxes. I hope it's clear for everyone. If y'all understand that, put a 1 in the comment section so I know that you understand. Okay, so let's continue. So instituted by Moses to correct the movement of the sun into the sign Aries, which owing to the precession of the equinoxes, it had made from Taurus. So in Taurus, transition or leaving Taurus, transitioning into Aries, and then finally Aries is the only constellation you see at 5:30 in the morning on the first day of spring, just above the horizon, okay? Previous to the exodus of the Hebrews or Israelites from Egypt. All right, I think that is clear. But as the superstitions, he's talking about religious beliefs, okay? But as the superstitions of the lower classes of Egypt were strongly adhered to by the Jews at that time. In other words, he's saying most of the Jews were ignorant. They were unlearned. This is what he's saying. Does everyone understand that? He's saying that the common people, the common Israelite, was ignorant and had been indoctrinated into believing a remix of natural phenomena. All right? Now let's keep going. But as the superstitions or religious beliefs of the lower classes of Egypt were strongly adhered to by the Jews at that time, and of course there were no Jews at that time, y'all. Jew is a religion. There were no Jews in ancient times. That's a relatively modern term and concept. In fact, Jews having their origins sometime around Babylonian, at the end of Babylonian captivity, during or shortly after Babylonian captivity, okay? So from the bloodline people, the house of Yasharallah, who are sprung from the soil, who are connected by blood. Sida Sono Abi writes, hello, I'm from Malaysia. Hello, Sida. Nice to meet you. I'm Al-Moroccan. I come from North America, the Al-Moroccan Empire. And I am domiciling in Vietnam. So I'm coming to you from beautiful, sunny Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. All right. So some of y'all may not know, but North America, most of y'all know that as the United States of America, Canada, Alaska, Northwest Amexem, okay, Amexem. Okay, so let's continue. So, scholars, the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention, we have to use words properly. We have to follow the principles that govern linguistics. Okay, so any scholar knows that you cannot talk about ancient Jews. You cannot talk about ancient blacks or ancient black pharaohs, ancient black kings. It did not exist. Okay? They are not ancient. So anytime you hear the word Jew, that's a religion. Anybody can join a religion as long as you accept the doctrine. And you do the rituals and ceremonies. Y'all read Jeremiah 8, verse 8. Okay? Now, let's continue. To correct the astronomical year, now remember, the context is the lower classes or the common people. Now, he calls them Jews. Adhered to by the Jews at that time to correct the astronomical year and do away with the sign of the bull or Tau or Baal or Bel. Okay, that's the Egyptian deity Apis, in which the right ascension had been so long calculated. It was calculated for 2,154 years, the zodiacal age where spring began in the zodiac sign Taurus. So you look over toward the east on the first day of spring, 5:30 in the morning, and you will see Taurus. That's all he's saying. Okay, right ascension, the sun ascending, coming from the winter solstice, ascending or springing northward, right ascension. Okay, everyone? And he passes over, or the sun passes over the ecliptic on between March 19th and 22nd of every year. Okay, clear? All right. Okay. Moses utterly destroyed the molten calf. Remember, Aaron made the golden calf, and then they celebrated, right? Moses broke the law. He dropped the laws and became the first lawbreaker. And then somehow or another, he crushed the golden calf until it became dust. Okay, until it became dust. Now let's continue, y'all. Actually, I'd like to do a word study on that. What is the etymological meaning of the word that's being rendered in English as dust? I'm very curious. I've always wondered why that word dust is there. Maybe it's correct. I don't know. But I'm curious. Okay, so let's continue, y'all. So Moses utterly destroyed the molten calf and substituted the everlasting symbol of the brazen serpent or the ecliptic. The ecliptic is the apparent path of the sun, y'all. So let's say, for example, this is the celestial equator at 0 degrees. The angle that the sun passes over or crosses below the celestial equator, well, that's the ecliptic. Okay, so let's say this is the celestial equator and this is the sun passing over. Y'all see the angle? So this angle, according to modern astrologists, is 23.5 degrees. 23.5 degrees. I've seen less than 23.5 in some literature. But needless to say, Moses replaced the zodiacal age, Taurus, with the ecliptic, the apparent path of the sun. Now, what does that mean? So since it's the ecliptic, the sun is always going to be traveling on the ecliptic. Aggie B writes, hello. Hello, Aggie B. So the sun is always going to travel on the ecliptic. So what's Moses' rationale? Why did he do that? Well, it could be because the people, the common people, didn't want to leave the zodiacal age Taurus because that's all they ever knew. That's all their forefathers ever knew that they had met. They only knew Taurus and the science in Taurus. So quite often people don't want to change. But Aries has a different consciousness than Taurus. And they did not want to transition. So it appears to me that Moses wanted to avoid this problem in the future. Okay? So a lot of people were killed, as the story goes. The Most High killed a lot of people who didn't want to leave the zodiacal age called Taurus. So he said, well, wait a minute, let's fix this problem so the people don't become attached to a zodiacal age. And we won't have to deal with this when we transition out of Aries into Pisces. Okay? That's why he did it. So he replaced Taurus with the ecliptic. Okay? So let's continue. And the ecliptic is called the brazen serpent, that his followers might no more substitute the circle of animals. So there you have it. So that the common people wouldn't substitute or get attached to, rather, any of the zodiac signs. Of course, all the zodiac signs are animals. Some people will say that Virgo is not an animal. They say it's a woman. But Virgo is referred to as what? The maiden of the sea. So that's a hybrid. That's an animal. Aquarius, also a hybrid. It's a morphology. We know Genesis chapter 1 created creature, the Han Uman. Also a morphology. Both, let me restate that. Both sex organs present or neither sex organ fully developed. Both present but neither developed. Either way, it's an amorphodite. Okay, so a hybrid made from a chimpanzee, sperm of a chimpanzee, and the egg of a Moabite woman or Moabitess. And then there are Gemini. I forgot the story on Gemini. Well, I'll come back to that. I don't remember right now. In terms of the hybrid aspect to Gemini. But let's keep going. That his followers might no more substitute the circle of animals, but acknowledge only the spiritual God. So he's calling, well, let's look at this phrase, this expression, spiritual God. It's an empty statement. It contains nothing. Spiritual, if you look at spiritual hermetically, it means the essence of life. Whatever that is, you take that away, there's no life. Hebraically, spiritual simply means breath. Breath. And then God, of course. God is a disaster for you Hebrew Israelites and Christians. What is God? God is the modern spelling of Odin, Wood, and goat. God is also dog spelled backward. Dog is Anubis, is Sirius, the canine constellation, the dog star. It's an anagram, right? I mean, we can go on and on and on about this word God. But I think I know what he's talking about. But I don't like to assume what he's talking about because these texts are encoded. The page numbers are often numerologically encoded. The words have meanings, and you assume you know the meaning, but you don't. You may need to know Latin. You may need to know Greek, Hebrew. You may need to know a bunch of different languages to identify the radical. And then the history and the philology associated with the word and the text in order to understand exactly what this word or expression means. And if you don't know that and you just assume, well, you just drank the Kool-Aid. You just drank the Kool-Aid. All right? Now they got you. All right? So in other words, you participated in your own propagandization. You transported yourself into the narrative. So anyway, he's saying spiritual God. But if you know anything about this topic, you know that that's an empty statement. It doesn't mean anything. All right? I hope everyone can see that. The high priests then use the square figure for the quote-unquote schemes of heaven. Schemes of heaven, this would be what? The configuration of the stars at any particular time. Or horoscope. Horoscope. See, horoscope is actually Horus Copes. Egyptian deity Horus hyphen Copes. And this quote-unquote white stone or cube worn by Masonic bodies is the same origin and represents the universe with the almighty architect in the center. So he's referencing the SUN sun, what we just talked about. Okay, so the center of the center, or where the tau, the lines of the tau cross and the Christian cross intersects, there is the center that he's talking about, where quote-unquote God dwells between the cherubim, the four living creatures. Okay, y'all? All right. So now he throws in another remix. He says here, and represents the universe with the almighty architect in the universe. I'm sorry, with the almighty architect in the center that I just showed you as the soul, S-O-U-L, thereof. So that's a remix. Soul is a concept that the Catholic Church created. This notion that something leaves your body alive, that's unseen, goes to heaven or hell. Catholic Church made that up. And here's how. From the Latin word sol, S-O-L, which simply means the S-U-N sun. It's Latin for S-U-N sun. Period. The Catholic Church put a vowel, a U after the O, called it a soul, and monetized it. Off of what? Off of what? Well, in astrology, there's this concept. Or let me not call it a concept. I'll just tell you what it is. When a man or woman expires in the flesh, the moment of expiration, the configuration of the stars are set. As time goes by, when that configuration appears again in the sky at that very moment, that man or woman is resurrected. So that the time between expiration and resurrection, this is called purgatory. The Catholic Church called it purgatory. And this is where they remix the notion or the religious doctrine of a soul from. Okay, y'all? It's just made up. They monetize this period of time between the expiration. And all of this is based upon the configuration of the heavenly bodies at expiration or at death. And then when they appear again, you're resurrected or brought back to life. That space of time is called what? Well, you're just, well, the Catholic Church calls it purgatory. And then they monetize purgatory. If you want to get out of purgatory, you need to pay them. Give them gold, silver, give them your land, give up your birthright. Right? And if you want your soul to go to heaven, so you can have all of the wives and all of this other stuff they promise you, well, you got to give up more or all of your birthright. You got to go fight in the Catholic wars as one of their soldiers. In other words, you have to go kill autochthonous Moors, the rightful heirs of all land, all resources, including water, including oil and gas, including precious gems, everything. All energy, all commerce, and all contracts. You need to go terminate them in war. Hence the doctrine of discovery, unum sanctum, manifest destiny, right, with the United States of North America, and so on and so forth. The administrative state, Jim Crow, and however it is that they do in whatever country you are in. Like some of y'all are in Malaysia. What are some of the methods that they use in terms of public policy to destroy the autochthonous, the indigenous people? Because they use public policy and they use science to destroy us, okay? But anyway, so this notion of an almighty architect in the center, okay, but that he represents, or that it is the soul, S-O-U-L, no. That's a religious remix. I'm not buying it. I'm scratching that out. I'm deleting it. Okay, that's pulling you back into the religious paradigm. Okay, the Christian paradigm. Y'all see that? The goal is to escape the Christian, Islamic, Judaism paradigm. Why? Because it's toxic. It's out of harmony with nature. So let's continue. According to the different signs, so as to agree with the circle, that's the Maserat. The circle is the Maserat, the old path that the prophets talked about told you to return to our ancestors. Well, y'all was probably there. But our ancestors said, no, we will not do it. They are placed 3 on the east, 3 on the south, 3 on the west, and 3 on the north. So let's take a look. 3 zodiac signs here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 there. Do y'all see that? This is the squared circle. The Zodiac. The Maserati. And as the SUN sun never goes north of the ecliptic in north latitude, so the north is always at the bottom of the figure. Okay, so this is why the north is at the bottom. The sun never goes north of the ecliptic in north latitude, so for whatever reason, whatever that means, north is at the bottom. Okay? And represents the midnight and winter. So north, Capricorn in the north, and in this figure, y'all, in this figure, Capricorn is in the north and represents midnight and winter. Okay, of course, why? Because Capricorn, the winter solstice is the death of the year from the northern hemisphere. So that means that the number of daylight hours are at their minimum during the whole year. And the number of nighttime hours are at their maximum during the whole year. And of course, it's midnight. All right? Now let's continue. So, and represents midnight and winter and the end of all things, the end of the year, right? The death of the year. And the place of darkness under the earth. Y'all got that? The place of darkness under the earth. Therefore, hell is under the earth. Hell is a place where you, according to religious doctrine, where you go burn for all your evil deeds, right? Well, in fact, hell is not a place of fire and torment. Astrologically, hell are those winter months. Those winter months that lie below the fall and the autumn equinox. Okay? The sun goes to its lowest point on December 22nd, which is the winter solstice. Which is the winter solstice. It's so cold in the middle of winter, it's so cold that it burns. For example, like a frostbite, right? Frostbite. Let me see if I can show you an image of frostbite. Give me 1 second. It's so cold, y'all, that it's hot. Okay? That's the point. Give me 1 second. Let y'all see frostbite. So those of you who are from cold climates, maybe some of you are from Europe, nobody needs to tell you about frostbite, right? Y'all know all about it. Those of us who are from the East Coast of North America, Al-Marak, we know all about frostbite. But I remember when winter was really winter on the East Coast. Y'all remember that back in the 70s? The snow. The snow used to get, I mean, we'd have some major snows, okay? Major snows. Take a look at that, y'all. Pause the video And take a look at this. This is frostbite. See, it's so cold that it's hot. Now, most of y'all have seen freezer burn food that you left in the freezer too long. It gets freezer burned. Well, this is frostbite. This is literally a burn. Okay, y'all? And you're talking about something that hoits. It hoits. But of course, if the nerve endings are burned, you won't feel it, right? So you see, no frostbite is normal. And y'all can see the different stages of frostbite. All right, correlate, look at the tissues and then look at the hand, at the palm and the fingertips, okay? Hell is so cold that it's hot. It will burn you. So even that has been remixed. Even that has been remixed and sold to you as a lie. Okay, sold to you as a lie. So let's take a look again. Frostbite. All right. So this is where the notion of hell comes from, being a fiery place. Okay? Hell is actually wintertime. In law, hell is a place where debtors go who owe the king money. You go to hell, all right? Debtors and hell Christianity. Do y'all see something happening here? Are y'all making the connections with what we just discussed? Hell, debtor, you need to pay a debt. How does an heir that everything on the planet belongs to somehow owe a debt? This is all your stuff. How can that possibly be? Well, they get you to give up your birthright. They get you to accept Christianity, which is maritime admiralty law, which is the source of the popes or the Catholic Church power, the Holy See, Bonum Sanctum. Okay? And Christianity, as we've learned, is commercial. So you're out here running around talking about you're a Christian or involved in any religion, because it's all Catholicism, Judaism, as well as the Muslim religion. It's all the same religion. It's just hidden from you. But they got the same originator, same basic concepts and doctrines. Just repackaged. For example, one cola is marketed as Coca-Cola. The other is marketed as Pepsi. And then they create marketing campaigns to create competition and separation between the two, to make each one distinctive and to make people who prefer one hate the other. Y'all know how it goes down. And then they'll throw in another one like Mountain Dew that's not a cola. In other words, Islam, Judaism, and Christianity. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Mountain Dew. McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's. Same thing. Look at the menus. Their products are essentially the same. Look at those religions. Their doctrines are essentially the same. But for sure, their origin is astrotheology, remixing of nature, and then packaging it as religious doctrine. Period. Okay, y'all, let's get back to it. Well, there was a point I wanted to make about hell. What was the point? Christianity is commercial, therefore you need a savior, which is a remix. Now remember, Saturn is the stronghold or strong house of Capricorn. Saturn is the source of all ills. All ills. All your sins. So the Escheat sun dies at the winter solstice, and then the Escheat sun is resurrected on December 25th. Or, depending on the doctrine, a new sun is born on December 25th, and now your sins are forgiven. But wait a minute, not so fast. Your sins are only forgiven if you believe. In other words, you need to give up birthright, accept Christianity, accept Islam. You need to give it up. Give up that birthright. Set it right over there. Now you can be saved. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? And if you don't give it up, if you don't become a Christian or a Muslim, what is it? Termination. Inquisition, termination. All right? So at the end of the paragraph, it says, see Job, quote unquote, darkness cometh out of the north. Darkness, ills, evil, wicked, take the deep from dark, attach it to evil, you get devil. Okay? So you have Christ, the summer solstice, the devil, the winter solstice, Hebraically, or let me not say Hebraically yet. So now we're looking at what? Opposites. Satan the devil and Christ. Christ, Satan the devil. These are opposites. So Hebraically, we're dealing with opposites. So Satan now becomes the opposer of Christ, the opposer of God. Hence Satan. Everybody see that? Hence Satan. So do y'all see how they are using the Hermetic Laws and astrology? We can say it differently. We can just say that they are using natural phenomena and nature against us. Okay? They remix nature into religion. And they're using it against us. How? By keeping us ignorant of nature. Now let's continue. Genesis, XLIX. Jacob blesses his sons, or rather the priest of Isis, do so bless. Isis is the moon, y'all. The initial moon, the quarter moon, the crescent moon rather. And describe the 12 signs of the Zodiac. I think I went through this already, but I'll do it again because this is really cool. This is really good stuff, y'all. So here it is. Jacob blesses his sons who are in fact priests of Isis. Now, if y'all know anything about Judaism, you already know that Judaism is moon worship and Saturn worship. But that's another story. We'll get into that at another time. Let's go through these blessings or zodiac signs, all right? So Jacob describes the 12 signs of the zodiac, for the Bible should not be taken literally. Well, don't get mad, Christians and Hebrew Israelites, but allegorically and esoterically. It even says that in the New Testament. Let me see, y'all, if I can find that verse. Hold on. One second. Okay. So Galatians 4:24, KJV. Which things are an allegory? Hold on. Can y'all see that? Which things are an allegory? Okay. So, you Hebrew Israelites and Christians, don't get mad. I'm not trying to destroy your work. Galatians chapter 4, verse 24, KJV reads, which things are an allegory? For those are the two covenants. The one from the Mount Sinai, which gendereth to bondage, which is Agar. All right? Well, I'm not going to go further into it than that, but that's a whole big topic in itself. Excuse me, I'm sure y'all would agree. Oh man, you know what? I might have to stop y'all. There's construction going on. I don't want to ruin the video because this is what we're going to get into right now. Or, you know, actually I could skip it because I've already done it. Well, you know what, y'all, let me end the video because this may be irritating for some people. They may not be able to go through it. Due to put a 1 in the comment section if y'all hear the noise. It's like a banging metal together. Y'all hear that? Put a 1 in the comment section for me. If you hear it, well, if you cannot hear it, put a 1. If you cannot hear it. Darrell-El, can you confirm? You cannot hear it. If you cannot hear it, put a 1. Can you do it again, Darrell-El, please? If you cannot hear it, put a 1. Oh, you can hear it. Well, let's stop. Well, let's see what... Hey, Darrell-El, do me a favor. If it's irritating as we go, can you let me know? Because I don't want to do it. I don't want to put this material in the video if it's going to be hard for people to listen to. Could you do that for me, please? If it's annoying, and then I'll stop the video. I'll go to another venue. Maybe it'd take me an hour or so, 30 minutes, an hour to find another venue, and then we'll resume. Thanks, Darrell. So let's do it. Darrell, you're a good guy, man. I really appreciate it. Darrell is I hope I can call you a researcher. I hope you don't mind if I call you a researcher. But he does a lot of good work in etymology and shares it for free. And, I really appreciate that. Very, very few people are willing to do anything, especially with this topic, y'all, and then not expect anything in return. So, Darrell, I really appreciate you, bro. All right, y'all, let's keep it moving. Genesis X, L, I, X, verse 3 and 4 reads, quote unquote, Reuben, thou art my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength. Key words, firstborn, might, beginning of my strength. Y'all already should be thinking right ascension, right? But I don't know. Let's let the author present his case, present his evidence. But the point here is, Darrell, it's my pleasure. The point here is that when we become familiar with the characteristics, with the stories of each zodiac sign, now we know the key words to look for when we read text. And when we see these key words in English, well, the light should go off. Go search it out in the Ancient Ibaryath. Go search it out. Search out the etymology, the philology, whatever grammar rules. Search it all out thoroughly. And you'll be shocked at what you find. That's why I'm doing the project to write the Book of the Law in modern English and Ancient Ibaryath, so y'all can see it for yourself. The astrology, astronomy, the Hermetic Laws, and the constitutional principles that are there but just hidden because it is not for you. They hid it from you. But that project needs y'all's support. Okay, I need you to support it. Anyway, let's keep going. Unstable as water. Thou shalt not excel. So now, water, we should be thinking what? Aquarius. Water, Aquarius. Unstable. What makes water unstable? It's movement. So in the wintertime, water is frozen. At least on the surface. It becomes unstable as it melts. But anyway, let's keep it going. But y'all see the concept, right? Because thou wentest up to thy father's bed, then defiled thou it. So you went up to your father's bed. So is this some story in mythology? What's going on here? Went up into your father's bed and defiled it. I know everybody's thinking the story probably of Noah, but let's let the author do what he do. Back to the paragraph. This alludes to the sign Aquarius, or the quote-unquote head of the man, the month of January, the beginning of the strength of the sun sun. Why is it the beginning of the strength of the sun sun, y'all? Because the sun dies on December 22nd, is resurrected, or a new sun is born on December 25th, at which time a full 1 degree shadow is cast on the sundial. Okay? So, December 26th, another 1 degree shadow. December 22nd, another 1 degree shadow. So now the sun is springing northward. The sun is ascending northward. Everybody see that? So, Aquarius is the beginning of the sun's strength. Yeah, it just came back to life. Y'all see that? The beginning of the strength of the sun sun. Also the January thaw, quote unquote. Unstable water. Everybody see that? Unstable water. Running in rivulets, defiling the pure snow, or sheets of the sun sun's wintry bed, or repose of the Father. Okay, so that's where the Father comes in. It had nothing to do with mythology. Okay, verse 5. Quote, Simeon and Levi are brethren. So anytime you hear brethren or two people, two beings that have some type of duty, obligation, responsibility to one another, you should think Gemini. This signifies Gemini, the twins. Verse 9, quote unquote. Judah is a lion's whelp. Well, lion, I'm thinking Leo. So Judah is a lion's whelp. Signifies Leo. Verse 13, quote. Zebulun shall be for a haven of ships. Well, that's Libra, right? Or Libra, the ship sign. Or Ark, A-R-C, or Ark, A-R-K, Ark. Electricity can arc, right? Verse 14, quote, Iskasar is a strong ass. Now, ass, I'm thinking donkey. I'm thinking Sagittarius. Not that that's right. I'm just thinking keywords for each zodiac sign. Couching down between two burdens. All right, so let's look at this. So ass, Sagittarius, hold on. So here's Sagittarius, right? The horse and his rider, half man, half horse. So what are these two burdens? Well, we'll see, right? We will see. Let's continue. All right, so verse 14 again. Iskasar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens. End quote. Is Taurus the bull? Okay, so Iskasar is Taurus the bull. Ox or heifer, the beast used in many Eastern countries for working purposes. Now that's very interesting because I'm going to say I disagree with the author here because an ass is a donkey, right? But here he says again, Iskasar is a strong ass. So what might it be? We might need to go look at the Ibaryath word, ancient Ibaryath word that's here rendered as ass. Maybe it's also rendered as ox or bull. I don't know. So let me not disagree yet. We need to check it out, right, y'all? We need confirmation on all of this stuff. This is the huge weakness in this author's book. He does not provide the etymological meanings or the word, their radicals, or their etymological meanings. So this is a huge weakness in his book. But of course, that doesn't relieve us of the responsibility, the obligation, the duty to go do the work ourselves. So that might be his reasoning. Iskasar is a strong ass, couching down between two burdens, end quote. So according to the author, this is Taurus, the bull, ox, or heifer, the beast used in many Eastern countries for working purposes. I have to mark that. I'm gonna check this out, y'all. Yeah, I've heard also. I think it was. I've heard some people say, be careful with PDFs because publishing companies often remove whole paragraphs or edit PDFs. What's that guy? It's a Moorish brother. But he said you should never get PDFs. You should always buy the hard copy. Okay, y'all. I don't know if this is the case, but an ass is definitely not an ox or a heifer. Okay, it's not. And then what about the couching down between two burdens? Darrell-El, Sabir Bey says that. Thanks, Darrell-El. Yeah, it's Sabir Bey. So I wonder if this is the case of a word being changed. Can easily find it out by looking up the etymological meaning. So Darrell-El writes, I disagree with that. It depends on who is loading the PDF. Oh, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Point well taken, Darrell-El. It depends on who uploaded that PDF. They may have tampered with it. Maybe it's not the publisher. Okay? But see, y'all, this is why we need to have our own literature and stop relying on foreigners and hybrids for our education. Because you cannot trust them. They rule us by Hollywood, the magic wand, this pen. That's how they rule. By making you see things that are not there. And that's done through the pen. Oh man, here we go. Hey, y'all, I'm going to stop here because the heavy-duty construction has started. They got the drills going. Give me about 30 minutes or 1 hour. I'm going to change venues, and we're going to pick this up. And it's actually, I think, better this way because this, I think, should be in a video by itself. Jacob blesses his sons should be a separate video. And I think that our people would benefit greatly by knowing this information. That's my personal opinion, so maybe this is a sign that I need to end it here. And like I said, go to another venue, put this in a separate video, and it's just going to be a video with just this information in it. Joseph's blessings of his sons. All right. Islam to all the Moors. Assalamu alaikum. I self-law am master. Shalom. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for supporting my work. I'm flattered. So keep on ordering my books. Order on Amazon right now. Don't order on zionlawschool.org. I'm locked out of my website. I got purchase receipts for people subscribing to 101 Ancient Ibaryath class. So thanks, I appreciate that. You're going to learn a lot. But remember, that's just the first step. And you need to learn it and master it. Okay? Everybody's welcome to come for free on Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You don't have to pay to come observe and participate. If you decide you want to enroll, of course, there's a small tuition fee. Islam to all the Moors. Shalom. I'll be back in about 1 hour, y'all. 30 minutes to 1 hour.